Let's be real. The Madden devs did a much better job with pass protection this year. I feel like this is really the first year in a while where you need to actually pick the right spots to blitz rather than on every play. Because, I mean, you have your crossfires and certain edge heat still, but I feel like they can both be very susceptible to certain run plays. And, I think you have a lot more tools. I think the slide protection is better. ID the mic, I don't even really have to use it, but it's there. It's there if you need it. Nevertheless, I think there are other ways that we can get pressure, not just the crossfire, which I think is too slow. And I think some of the edge heat is kind of predictable. I think some people are still running that cover 2 blitz at a 3-3-5. But what I want to show you is some ways that we can do it at a 4-3 normal. I think you guys have caught on that I really love this formation. I like how versatile and even it is. I think there are a lot of different positions that you can use her, so you have some flexibility there. And I think there's a lot of adjustments that you can make without totally ruining, the integrity of your defense. I think, just by itself, it's great. I think the pass rush is great. Not as good as it used to be, where you can just, stay in aggressive D line all game, rack up 5-6 sacks without ever sending a single blitz. But I think it's also great, just in terms of, the run fit integrity. This year is really the first year that I've stopped using nickel entirely. With how good the run game is, with how bad man coverage is, and how athletic some of the outside linebackers in MUT are, I really see no reason in getting out of base formations, unless you're comfortable, you have some certain blitzes in nickel, or you're running 3-3-5, which is for some reason still a great run D. But yeah, even though just sitting in coverage and letting your defensive ends go is still pretty great, I think every once in a while we need to bring the heat. And I think these are some of the best ways to do it. Okay, I think, I've been running some of these and they've been successful for me, so you can take my word on it, and then you can take this to the practice field and take it to games for yourself and see that, you can get some heat out of it. You don't always need, the fast nickel cornerback coming around the edge or that looping blitz. There are other ways we can do it. So yeah, we'll go 4-3 normal. We can do this. So this is more of blitz concepts. I mean, not real life blitz concepts. This is more of just how we can confuse the offensive line in Madden rather than, real life blitz concepts. So take that with a grain of salt. This isn't, educational video by any means, just how we can, get past that offensive line to the quarterback. So yeah, we'll come on cover 2. I think I like setting up my blitzes because we're gonna be using the outside linebackers. Sorry, we're gonna be using all linebackers to get our heat here. Okay, so if we do it out of say cover 4, we'll probably lose some integrity in the flat zones. Same with cover 3. Now we can do that no problem, if we want to sacrifice that flat zone. But I think what I liked about doing it as cover 2 is that we'll always have the 2 cloud flats there. We'll always have the 2 deep blues. And it's just a matter of more or less space in the middle of the field where, if you're a good user or a decent user, there's no reason why, you shouldn't be able to, jump on a hot read and, force the quarterback to keep the ball a bit longer and let our pass rush come through and sack him. Okay, so cover 2, and then we'll come out in, gun bunch, everybody's favorite passing formation. I mean, it's still crazy how great this formation is. So we'll just go in Z spot and go, something that doesn't have anyone blocking. Okay, so if you see here, I'm running my new roster. If you didn't see my video yesterday, what it is just some of the best players in Madden Ultimate Team on both sides of the ball. Okay, I want to start, being a lot more consistent with, how these practice field plays and how my labbing will actually turn out in a real game. Okay, so if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Or, just look in the description. I have the name of the playbook that you can search sorry, not the playbook, the roster you can search and download for yourself. Fortunately, it is only for PlayStation 4 for now. But, if anybody out there, wants to take a bit of time, they can message me and maybe they can get it up on Xbox for everybody. Okay, so anyway, we'll get started. First of all, we'll go with how to get edge heat. It's not my favorite way to get pressure out of this, but it's a way that we can, mix in. So what we'll do is, and this is a blitzing concept that a lot of people use. Usually they'll come out in one of the cover 2 blitzes out of 4-3 over, or some of the 3-4 formations. But this is a way that we can get it out of 4-3. So we're going to base align, unfortunately, and then we're going to shift our linebackers. Damn. So we're going to shift our linebackers to the side we want to blitz on. In this case, we'll go to the left just for a demonstration. Okay. Now, you might want to choose which way you want to go. Maybe if the running back is on the right side, we want to blitz on the opposite side. Or, in this case, I'd actually avoid blitzing from this left side just because our edge defender is going to kind of, get muddied up with those receivers. So all you have to do is just, base the line. You're going to shift your linebackers to one direction, whichever direction you want, and just blitz that overhang linebacker. And then you're going to, you've probably seen this before. You're going to bring your user linebacker down, and you're going to bluff blitz them. I mean, like manually bluff blitz them. So you're going to sit there, and you're going to kind of, for a split second, just wait there, and you see. I mean, the quarterback's always going to make that right check down, the AI is always going to make that right check down, but your opponent probably won't. Okay, so he's going to come around that edge. And if he just had an extra split second. So that's why, a lot of these blitzes, I'm not going to be afraid, and I'm going to put hard flats. If they're going to check that down, I want that cornerback there. Okay, again, so base the line, shift our linebackers to whichever direction we want. We can also put that middle linebacker in a deep blue. That's totally up to you, really. It's kind of what you think your opponent is going to be doing. So you're really going to be playing sort of a meta game there. But that's not something I can really teach. It's this kind of intuition you have to build, in general, and then for each game, depending on what your opponent likes to do. But at least this blitz is always going to work. Okay, there are situations so let's run this again. Yeah, see, it comes out. Sometimes I wonder if we can just let the AI play quarterback for us, because, man, they always make the right read. Sometimes you can also contain. I don't know. That's up to you. A lot of the times that outside linebacker won't be the contain. It'll be the defensive end. So something I don't mess around with, but you can. Okay. So yeah, you saw how the left guard actually came out there. I have a weird conspiracy that there is some sort of learning algorithm in this offensive line. I think sometimes, when you're labbing these blitzes, the first or second will come in, but then they start to kind of realize that the heat's coming from the left, and so they'll shift out there. I don't know. That's just my conspiracy. I might look into it. So let's run this again. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the blitz comes through pretty much every time. The reason why I don't like it that much is that sometimes he doesn't take, wide enough of an angle. He kind of sometimes gets caught up with that defensive end there. Another reason why, yeah. So with my user, I kind of just hang there for a second or so. Occupy that center, make that left guard take the one technique. The tackle's going to take the end, and then your outside linebacker is going to be free unless there's, a blocking running back. This is, what I was saying earlier is how a lot of these blitzes that you have to run in Madden 18 aren't great against the run. is because, I mean, you have all your linebacker. I did this. I have all my linebackers to the left side. I'm caught up here. So if they run the base or even an inside zone, I'll be stuck here. My linebackers will be there, and it'll be a big gain towards the right side. Okay, so you don't want to be running this every play or even every other play. You want to be running this on important third or fourth downs, when you really know that your opponent is going to be passing the ball. So I really encourage you not to run this when there's even some sort of a possibility of a run. Okay, but you see how consistent it is. It's nice. I like it. I like it a lot. And then you can go. What I like about 4-3 normal is you can pick your side pretty easily. You can pick it on the fly. And you could do it to the side. I wouldn't do it here just because he's going to get kind of, mixed up with Antonio Brown here. I mean, we'll show it. We'll see how it goes. I mean, his alignment's kind of goofy anyway. Yeah. Yeah, pick it to the side if there's a free side. Maybe if there's a tight end, right there with the tackle, you could still get away with it. But it's probably best to do it on the side where it's just a tackle. Okay? So I like that. What I like a lot better, though, is just sending the heat right through the middle. I don't see anything wrong with sending 6. I think I used to be against it. I'm more of the mindset now. It's that I'm either sending 6 or I'm sending 3. So I'm either sending everybody or I'm doing something like this. Or something like this. Just because, again, I think the offensive line is really good in this game. And the best way to really beat them is just sending more that they can possibly block. So what I like about this, and then you can put some hard flats in there. It's really forcing your opponent. Okay, they've been driving down the field, getting 5 to 10 yards a pop, and you say, okay, now it's me against you. I'm sending 6. Can you make the right read quick? Can you, first of all, see the blitz and prepare for it? And if you can't, it's me against you. I'm going to take the hot read. The blitz is going to come through. As a user, I'm going to take, the first guy coming in. Now, if your opponent and if you see that read, props to you. Come back in. And then you can also, contain these guys if you come up against somebody that likes to scramble from the blitz. Just send that. They're going to get through. They're going to get through every single time. They're going to force a check down. If you have the hard flat, you could probably pick that off. What I like even better is to spy blitz the outside linebacker. So I saw this, earlier towards the beginning of the Madden year. I feel like people aren't using it. I don't know why. If you want to tell me, please do. But if you send the blitz with, clicking the right stick down right after the snap, they're going to come in a lot quicker. So if you see how it kind of turns out here, you see how quick he gets in there? So you're probably going to get there, a split second to a second quicker, which is, in this case where it's just covering 1 or 2 receivers in the middle, it's a matter of how quick we can get there. And so when I run my 4-3 normal, I want my fastest guys there. I want to pick, your Deion Jones, Ryan Shazier, Mikal Kendricks. Every split second counts. See how quick he gets there? Now, what you have to watch out for is that if there's a slot receiver to the left, your outside linebacker is going to, drift out there. So either you're going to want to manually move him in yourself, or you're going to have to base a line to bring him in there. So that's something you want to watch out for, because if he's out there, he'll still come in, but again, it's going to take him longer to get in there. So it's going to look something like this. You see, that's just taking way too long. We want to get there in like a second, if that. Another thing is, if your opponent, you want to kind of look at that halfback first. If he's blocking, your blitz probably isn't going to come in unless, he misses the block or something glitchy happens. So if he's blocking, you're going to have to kind of get away from the hot read. So if you would be looking towards Kelsey on a drag or a slant, well, now you're going to have to kind of let him go and start keying on anything that comes over the top. Because, if this blitz, if you send this middle linebacker and outside linebacker and it gets picked up by Gurley, and if you're covering Kelsey on a drag, Brown is going to score. Okay. If he's on a streak or anything like that, because the safeties aren't going to get him. So that's something you have to key for. But in this case, you see him coming out for a route. In that case, I went too deep. But you want to take the hot read. Other things you can do. By the way, if it's not already obvious, you want to run this to the side of the one technique, because you have this bigger opening here that David can shoot. So if you do it to this side, it'll still come in, but it might get a little muddy with just how tight it is there. So I'd suggest doing it to this side. But anyway, in terms of the coverage, you can also do things like putting your safety as a robber and putting the corner as the deep half, and say, okay, if my opponent tends to be running a lot of crossing routes, I want to have an extra, middle zone here, and I'm going to let him take, his 5 yards or so with a flat route. So it's something you'll want to mix up. If you're going to be sending the blitz, you don't want to make it predictable of where the hole is going to be. So, they already have only 1 second to make a decision, but now if they have to think about where they want to throw it to, that just adds to the hesitation and adds, extra, 10, 20% to your success rate. So something like that. And you force a bad throw, at the worst. So that's what I would do. You can also, if you don't want to lose both of your linebackers here, you can take control of that middle linebacker. So same thing you would do, but you would take control. You'd let the blitz take you for a bit, just so you can occupy that center and make sure that that left guard has to take the one technique and your outside linebacker's free. So let's show that. So, yeah, that's a weird thing I've noticed if you move around with that linebacker. So something like that. So obviously the downside there is that if you don't do it right, they'll pick up that blocker. But the upside is that you can get them free and you have one more player in the zone coverage. So let's show it again. So you see? So we get them through there. Obviously, this is, if we can get this down, this is, it's not a gentlemanly way of playing, but it's fun, So that left guard came out there again, adding to the conspiracy. Is there some sort of learning going on with these offensive line? I think there might be. I think if you, you're not obviously going to be running this every single down, but I think if you run this and then run 5 or 6 other plays and then come back to this, they won't see that. Yeah. Or it's just a matter of getting that bluff blitz right. So it's just a matter of how far do I want to take this before dropping back into my zone? And also, like, what direction I want to take. So if you go too far to this side, you'll have a blocker for every blitzer. But if you kind of hang in here, it should set Lavonte David free. Anyway, this is one that, you know, I haven't been running too much just because it is something you have to get down. But if you do, you know, it's 5-man edge sheet that comes in quick and it comes in consistently if you know what you're doing. So definitely, you know, try to work that in. A little pro tip is if you do this at a 3-4, like there is that formation 3-4 over ED, which is this exact same look as this, except you have outside linebacker, middle linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end, defensive tackle, defensive end. So what that means is that when you do the coverage adjustments to this guy and you press up on the left stick, instead of a seam flat, he's actually going to turn into a deep blue. So obviously I can't show it here because I'm not in it, but he's going to turn into a deep blue. So what's good about that is that then you don't have to account for this deep area with your user middle linebacker. So this guy will be up there. Lavonte David will be getting to the quarterback, and you'll be kind of free in this area, taking away those hot reads. So yeah, if you like the 3-4, you know, you can do this out of that. But I mean, it's really the same thing. Anyway, this is something I might, because there's some serious potential here. I might, you know, try to lab this up a bit more. Maybe if I bring him in, if I go down a bit. Yeah, see, I think that's going to work better, but I don't really like giving it away that much. So if you know, bring the blitz down a bit. Works better, but, you know, you're not able to disguise as well. That's why I like this one just the best. You know, it doesn't look like anything special is going on. Sometimes they'll pick up that outside linebacker, but that middle linebacker is going to be free. He's going to come in a bit slower, but he's going to come in free. You can also do some really glitchy stuff where you put them both in a spy and click twice. So he comes through, and then what you have then is you have the middle linebacker will be an extra spy. So he'll be sitting here. He's going to take away any drag routes, like just for a bit. He's not going to carry them for a while. He's just going to take them for a bit. And, you know, he might be another person that can, you know, if he's tall, he might be able to pick something off over the middle. I think it only works if you spy the middle linebacker first and then spy the outside linebacker, and then right when they snap, you send them. See, like, now this is getting really glitchy because that left guard was trying to block the outside linebacker, but he's just like dumbed out completely. See that? So let's just show this with a drag going over the middle. Anyway, I feel like this should probably get patched just because, like, I don't know. I mean, if it does get patched, I feel like the best thing would be to do is they should make those blitzes a bit quicker. Like, they just come through too slowly. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. They want, you know, casual players to have a bit more fun with this, but okay. Yeah, so if you want to get really glitchy, spy the middle linebacker, spy the outside linebacker, double click, and then if the outside linebacker does get picked up, then you can click one more time and send the middle linebacker. But yeah, let's show that on instant replay. I don't know I think because he just totally confused of like, should I take the middle linebacker? Should I take the outside linebacker? I don't know. I take nobody. Yeah, so if you want to get really glitchy, do that by all means. You can also do that to the other side. So you can spy this outside linebacker. You can take control of Wagner. What you need to do in this case is crash your defensive line down. And he should be able to split those guys. Okay, I should have known better. If you move him around, sometimes weird things happen. Yeah, see, he comes through just like that. But again, just like the one I was showing you where I was manually bluff blitzing the middle linebacker, it's not consistent. I mean, it can be if you know what you're doing, which I probably don't. See, some cases he'll take that A gap rather than the B gap. And I think it might be a situation where I don't know if can't remember if I slanted or not. Yeah, so it's just a matter of bringing him in with the baseline. Unless he's already there, depending on the alignment of the offensive formation. And you just crash down, spy him, and then as soon as the ball snaps, send him. Okay, so that's how you can get heat out of the 4-3 normal. Again, what I like about it is that, it can come out of any side through the middle. You can, use the middle linebacker, use the outside linebacker. That's why I always suggest, getting the fastest guys here. And then, bringing it back to the beginning of this video, you can bring that edge heat too. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Some of the ways aren't the most gentlemanly, but it's gonna get you to the quarterback in ways that otherwise you can't through this formation, because some of the blitzes are really, really bad. So I hope you like this. If it helped you out, make sure to leave a like. If this is your first video that you've seen of mine, make sure to subscribe. I like to think that I'm bringing some videos that you haven't seen before, some new and original content, and I'm going to keep coming with it. Okay, so we'll see you in the next one.